It starts with a shape that doesn't shout. A quiet confidence moving through the suburbs, the interstates, the years. You've seen it in driveways, parked outside grocery stores, loaded with everything from strollers to hiking gear. It's the kind of machine that never needed flash to earn loyalty, just an honest balance of space, efficiency, and reliability that millions came to trust. Over 2 decades, it's been the go-to choice for families, commuters, and anyone who just wanted their car to work every single day. Behind that calm exterior lies a story of persistence, evolution, and how one crossover redefined what Americans expect from practicality. The numbers tell one side of the tale. The people who drove it tell the other. And somewhere in between is how it quietly became the best-selling vehicle of its kind. This isn't about horsepower or hype, it's about endurance. Stick around as we unpack how it happened, why it lasted, and what it means today. Like and subscribe if you enjoy deep dives into automotive icons, and drop a comment on which model you want next. The Honda CR-V began as a calculated risk, a vehicle that asked a simple question: could Honda take everything? Americans loved about their sedans and translated into a family-friendly SUV without losing the brand's signature civility? In the mid-1990s, the answer was uncertain. The company had built its reputation on compact cars and efficient engines, not on high-riding all-wheel drive family haulers. But the Honda CR-V, launched for the 1997 model year in the US, would change that overnight. The design team didn't start with a blank sheet. They built on the bones of the Civic, a car already synonymous with reliability and thrift. This foundation gave the CR-V a car-like feel: light steering, predictable handling, and a smooth 4-cylinder powertrain that separated it from the truck-based SUVs dominating the decade. Buyers who wanted cargo space without the lumbering behavior of a full-size rig found an immediate match. Honda wasn't just selling a vehicle. It was solving a problem America didn't know it had. Urban sprawl was spreading, and families wanted one vehicle that could handle the school run, weekend getaways, and long commutes. The CR-V's tall roof and low step-in height hit that sweet spot. Inside, everything reflected Honda's obsession with ergonomics. Controls were intuitive, visibility was excellent, and the rear seats folded flat, small touches that made daily life easier. Even the rear tailgate, split horizontally in early models, reflected an engineer's logic. You could open just the glass for quick access or drop the lower section for loading bigger items. Yet for all its thoughtfulness, the first-generation CR-V wasn't flashy. Its 126 horsepower engine was barely adequate, and critics often called it underpowered. But that modest output turned out to be part of its charm. Owners discovered that real-world usability mattered more than spec sheet bragging rights. The CR-V delivered consistent, predictable performance and an uncanny ability to keep going year after year. It built trust quietly, one commute at a time. By the early 2000s, the second-generation model arrived, and with it came refinement that cemented its place in driveways across America. Honda doubled down on its strengths: smooth drivetrain, quality interior materials, and a reputation for bulletproof dependability. The CR-V's growth mirrored the changing needs of American families: more child seats, more cargo, more tech. Each redesign stayed faithful to the same formula: practicality first, flash second. While competitors chased trends with aggressive styling or gimmicky features, Honda chose subtle evolution. Engineers focused on fuel efficiency, cabin comfort, and long-term ownership cost. The result? A crossover that aged gracefully and inspired confidence long after its warranty expired. For many buyers, that was the deciding factor. Owning a CR-V didn't just mean transportation, it meant peace of mind. By the time the third generation launched in 2007, the CR-V was no longer just a compact SUV. It had become a cultural fixture. The rounded design softened its utilitarian edges, appealing to a broader audience that wanted something modern yet familiar. The rear-mounted spare tire disappeared, symbolizing the model's move from rugged to refined. Inside, every inch of space was optimized, from the deep center console to the clever underfloor storage. Honda's engineers had mastered the art of invisible innovation, improvements you felt rather than noticed. The CR-V was also a reflection of its times. Rising gas prices pushed buyers toward efficiency, and Honda's advanced iVTEC engines delivered both performance and economy. Safety features like stability control and multiple airbags became standard, reinforcing the brand's reliability narrative. The CR-V wasn't chasing headlines, it was quietly setting the benchmark for what a compact SUV could be. As the years passed, one truth became clear. This vehicle wasn't just popular because it was good. It was popular because it fit the American lifestyle almost perfectly. The fourth generation in 2012 refined that balance again, bringing sleeker design, better fuel economy, and technology integration that kept pace with digital expectations. By now, the CR-V was a bestseller not by accident, but by strategy. Honda had built a feedback loop between customers and design teams, adjusting each generation to real-world needs. Families wanted more comfort and connectivity, and the CR-V delivered without overcomplication. The 2017 fifth generation brought sharper lines, turbocharged power, and advanced safety systems, evolving the formula without losing the familiar character owners loved. Every generation told the same story through a different lens. Steady progress rooted in restraint. In a market obsessed with constant reinvention, Honda's discipline stood out. The CR-V's success wasn't about being first or loudest, it was about being relentlessly right for its audience. And that quiet perfectionism is what built its empire. What began as a niche experiment became Honda's most consistent US success story. And that consistency now sets the stage for a deeper look into how the CR-V maintained dominance in an increasingly competitive landscape. Next, we'll explore how the market, the rivals, and the culture around crossovers shaped this unassuming icon's rise to the top. The Honda CR-V entered its second decade with momentum that few vehicles ever achieve. As the compact SUV segment exploded, the CR-V didn't just survive, it thrived. The 2012 model year marked a new era of competition, yet the CR-V remained America's top-selling SUV year after year. Its reputation for dependability became almost folklore among owners. But success on that scale isn't just about reliability, it's about trust and timing. The CR-V offered something that few rivals could replicate: predictability without boredom. Honda understood its buyers better than most automakers. They weren't chasing off-road adventures or quarter-mile times. They wanted a vehicle that worked with their lives, not against them. The CR-V's footprint made it easy to park in urban environments, yet its cabin could swallow luggage, pets, and groceries in a single trip. The powertrains evolved gradually, never cutting-edge but always refined. Each redesign responded to subtle cultural shifts in American driving. When fuel prices rose, Honda focused on efficiency. When tech features became essential, the CR-V integrated them seamlessly without compromising usability. The brand's ability to evolve without alienating existing owners became its greatest weapon. Rival manufacturers tried to disrupt the formula with turbocharged bravado, edgy styling, or bargain pricing, but few matched the CR-V's balanced approach. Honda's consistency became a quiet form of dominance. Even in the used car market, resale values remained high, reflecting an unspoken truth. People didn't just buy CR-Vs, they held on to them. That loyalty wasn't accidental. It was engineered through decades of incremental improvement. The third and fourth generations in particular represented the maturing of Honda's crossover philosophy. Interior design moved toward premium simplicity, clean lines, soft-touch materials, and that unmistakable Honda ergonomics where everything simply worked. The driving experience remained light and reassuring, not sporty but composed, mirroring the unflappable character of the brand itself. Then came the challenge of electrification. While other manufacturers rushed out hybrids and plug-ins, Honda took a deliberate path. The hybrid CR-V arrived later than some expected, but when it did, it reflected the same values that made the nameplate trusted in the first place: efficiency, practicality, and longevity. It wasn't about being first, it was about being right. The CR-V hybrid quickly became a cornerstone of Honda's US lineup, showing that the company could adapt without abandoning its mechanical honesty. The decision to keep the hybrid system straightforward and reliable mirrored the approach of earlier generations: evolution over revolution. Meanwhile, Honda's US manufacturing network in Ohio and Indiana ensured that the CR-V remained a domestic mainstay. Local production allowed rapid adaptation to regulatory changes and supply challenges, helping the model weather disruptions that sidelined other brands. In the broader cultural context, the CR-V also became a shorthand for sensible success. It wasn't the car you bragged about, but it was the car you trusted enough to lend to your teenager or drive cross-country without hesitation. That confidence became its own kind of prestige. As automakers flooded the market with dozens of compact crossovers, the CR-V remained the measuring stick. Reviews consistently compared newcomers to the Honda benchmark, and resale guides placed it at the top of longevity rankings. Owners didn't form loud fan clubs, they formed habits. For many, the CR-V was the vehicle they replaced with another CR-V. In a market driven by novelty, that kind of repeat loyalty is gold. The shift toward hybrids and soon full electrics now tests that relationship. Can a nameplate built on quiet reliability adapt to the demands of an EV future without losing its identity? That's the tension defining this era of the Honda CR-V. The model has carried generations of drivers through changing automotive values, from gas mileage wars to safety, revolutions to software integration, and now it faces the most profound transition yet. What's remarkable is that Honda approaches it with the same restraint that defined its rise. There's no panic, no radical reinvention, just an understanding that the CR-V's appeal lies in stability amid chaos. And that calm confidence sets the stage for what comes next. In the final segment, we'll explore how the Honda CR-V's enduring legacy shapes the brand's next chapter, and what its evolution reveals about the future of mainstream mobility. The Honda CR-V's legacy is now written in decades, not just model years. By the time the 2023 version rolled into showrooms, the CR-V had already become a fixture of American life, part of the visual and emotional landscape of everyday mobility. The challenge was no longer proving its worth. It was proving its relevance in a changing world. And yet, that's precisely what the latest generation of the Honda CR-V has managed to do. The hybrid and turbocharged variants symbolize Honda's deliberate, measured response to a market that increasingly values sustainability without wanting to sacrifice convenience. This is the sixth generation, but the story it tells is an evolution of values as much as engineering. Honda didn't just make a more efficient CR-V, it built one that feels instantly familiar to anyone who's ever owned one, yet quietly modernized for the next decade. The 2023 Honda CR-V embodies restraint as a competitive advantage. The exterior is sharper, the proportions more athletic, but it avoids the trap of over-stylization that plagues many crossovers. Inside, the design philosophy leans minimalist. Clean lines, high-quality materials, and the kind of ergonomics that make long drives effortless. It's the latest expression of what Honda has always done best, anticipating how people actually use their vehicles. The hybrid system, tuned for smoothness rather than drama, shows that efficiency can coexist with composure. In city driving, the electric assist creates an almost silent glide. On highways, the gasoline engine steps in with barely noticeable transitions. It's not meant to thrill, it's meant to work, day in and day out. And that's exactly what has kept the CR-V dominant. Beyond the mechanics, the CR-V represents something deeply cultural. It has become the unspoken benchmark for Middle America's automotive values, practicality, reliability, and quiet pride in ownership. For 2 decades, it's been the backdrop to life events. First jobs, first homes, first road trips with kids in the back. In that sense, the CR-V isn't just a vehicle. It's a narrative thread through millions of American households. The 2023 model carries that legacy forward by addressing the needs of a new generation. More advanced safety systems come standard, from adaptive cruise control to lane-keeping assist. The infotainment finally catches up to digital expectations, but without drowning drivers in complexity. Even the cargo area, one of the CR-V's signature features, is larger and more flexible than ever. Every change serves a clear purpose, not a marketing whim. Honda's restraint stands in contrast to a market flooded with hype. Rivals chase viral appeal. Honda builds longevity. That's why, even as electric SUVs multiply, the CR-V still dominates sales charts. It appeals to reason in an era of impulse. It's the vehicle people buy when they've stopped being impressed by flash and started valuing trust. That trust now anchors Honda's broader transition into electrification. The hybrid CR-V is the gateway to fully electric models like the upcoming Prologue, and its success will determine how confidently the brand can move into that space. If history is any indication, Honda will take the same path it always has: incremental, deliberate, and relentlessly focused on the customer. For enthusiasts, the CR-V's legacy might seem modest, but its impact is enormous. It defined the modern compact SUV, set the reliability standard for an entire segment, and proved that you don't need extremes to earn devotion. Even now, 20-plus years later, every new CR-V carries the DNA of that first model, a simple promise that your car should make life easier, not louder. In a world obsessed with innovation for its own sake, the CR-V's endurance reminds us that real progress comes from purpose, not spectacle. And that's what makes the Honda CR-V not just a bestseller, but a quiet legend of American roads. In our final chapter, we'll distill what this means for today's buyers, how to find value, reliability, and meaning in a market overflowing with choices, and why the CR-V's formula still matters more than ever. For US drivers today, the Honda CR-V stands as more than a dependable crossover. It's a blueprint for what practical engineering and consistent values can achieve. The 2023 Honda CR-V isn't a radical reinvention. It's the culmination of a design philosophy that's been refined over 26 years of real-world testing. For anyone shopping in the compact SUV market, that matters. Every system, from the hybrid drivetrain to the redesigned interior, reflects decades of feedback from American families who needed a vehicle that could adapt to life's shifting demands. Reliability remains the core of its appeal. In an age of overpromised technology, the CR-V's predictability feels almost refreshing. Maintenance costs stay modest, parts availability is widespread, and resale value remains among the highest in its class. Even in used form, a well-kept CR-V commands a premium, a tangible testament to the trust it's earned. For buyers considering longevity, that's not just reputation, it's financial logic. The hybrid models now offer over 40 miles per gallon in city driving without requiring a plug, and the interior comfort rivals many midsize SUVs costing far more. But the CR-V's true value lies in its balance. It's never been about doing one thing perfectly. It's about doing everything well enough that owners forget to worry. That's why the nameplate keeps showing up generation after generation in the same households. Parents hand them down to teenagers. Couples trade an older one for a newer one. Families replace a minivan with a CR-V and never look back. The ownership experience has become a tradition in itself. For those eyeing the 2023 model, used prices remain strong, but incentives and certified pre-owned programs make it attainable for a wide range of buyers. Its reliability data, both from consumer surveys and long-term fleet studies, continues to reinforce the same story. Minimal drama, maximum consistency. Even with tighter emission standards and the coming wave of electrification, the CR-V remains central to Honda's future in America. It bridges the past and the next phase, proof that innovation doesn't always mean abandoning what works. In the end, the Honda CR-V's legacy isn't just about being the best-selling SUV for over 2 decades. It's about how it earned that title quietly, through patience, logic, and trust. That's a rare kind of success in today's market, and a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful progress happens when you stay true to what people actually need. The road changes, the technology evolves, but the CR-V's mission stays the same, to make everyday life just a little bit easier. And that's why, year after year, America keeps coming back to it.